Hello there, people of the internet. This right here is going to be kind of a first looks video on I believe it's a Rock Island Armory. It's an M9 clone. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce the name. Melik, M-E-L-I-K. It's, for all intents and purposes, an M9 clone, a Beretta 92S clone. I'm sure that everybody in the gun community knows what that is. So this actually came in this little box right here. I tried getting off the little paper tag on the back just to kind of make it nicer, but it's super sticky, so I'm going to have to take that off with some lacquer thinner or something. It says Rock Island Armory right on the front. Let's go ahead and have a look at this thing. I was under the impression that Rock Island Armory was their own manufacturer in the Philippines, but this is a handgun out of Turkey. It looks like it's Rock Island Armory Imports. It says Derya, Derya, on one side of the slide, and then Melik on the other. Made in Turkey. Fantastic. So, on the inside of the case, you get your little lawyer safety sheet that all new firearms have to come with. And then we have a whole bunch of spots for all sorts of stuff. This particular one, I got one magazine with it. It's a 15-round mag. These do take standard Beretta M9 mags, so that's fantastic. I got a big old pile of those. Two spots for more magazines. I'll probably just slip some surplus mags in there. I think that the most you can get with one of these mags is 17 rounds, which is a pretty good honking amount. There's a spot for extra grips. I doubt I'll get extra grips for this thing. It's a very cheap and inexpensive handgun. Pulling it out, actually looking at it, I won't lie, it's quite nice. I've messed around with Beretta 92s before. I've checked out all sorts of makes and manufacturers and all sorts of different stuff, but something about this one. Maybe it's because this is one that I own, but even then, I mean, I've messed around with plenty of them. I've never really been all that impressed with them. I never really liked them. They're big, they're chunky, they're heavy, they're a good service sidearm, but I never really saw much practicality for them. And as a result, I've never actually owned one, but I've played around with my fair share of the M9s and Beretta 92s and just the various clones of this handgun that have come out onto the market. But the grip contour on this particular one just fits my hand so much better than all of those others, which is why I say I don't think I'm going to swap out the grips on this one. My hand is just the perfect size to be able to grab onto this thing. It almost feels like it was made for it. I really like the beaver tail on this particular model as well. Functionality, decocker, that works. This right here has already been checked for safety for any of the safety gurus out there. Decocker works, double action works, go ahead and check, slide lock, that works, single action, that works. That's a really nice single action trigger, actually. Bring that back to our wall, and man, probably about, what, 4 pounds, if that. I have no idea how accurate this is. We still have to actually take it out to shoot it. No idea how reliable it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to have a break-in period. Typically, your bottom of the barrel budget firearms, especially the ones on a turkey, they do have break-in periods, and that's fine. 9mm, I can go out and run a case of that through this handgun and still have less money and ammo than I would in the actual handgun itself. But normally, break-in period is about 200 or so rounds. It's got plenty of factory grease on it, but I'm still going to go ahead and clean it, lube it up properly with some good, probably Remington oil, depending on what it is that I have laying around. This right here is a 15-round mag. You can see the little slot for 15, so you can identify how much ammunition you have left inside of your magazine. So I'm probably going to see if I have any 17-round mags laying around. If I don't, I'll go ahead and get my hands on some. External extractor, that's going to make fixing that a lot easier if that decides to go wrong. No idea what this is. It's probably a loaded chamber indicator if I had to make a bet, but again, I have not actually taken this to the range, so I am not certain on that, and I don't have any dummies to be able to test that out. The front of the trigger guard right here is serrated, so if you want to grab it with the old booger hook, if that is your grip style that you decide to go, and if you hold your handgun, it is serrated to give you the best gripping surface possible. So all that being said, I suppose I'm going to go ahead. Oh God, I got to press this and turn that. It takes 3 hands to disassemble this thing. Press that, turn that, pull this off. I'm doing this off camera just for YouTube rules. The internals of this thing, that looks very, very standard Beretta 92S. It all looks like it has the same basic bare bones minimum finish on it. God, okay, I'm gonna take that spring off. I hate doing that because the guide rod on these don't go all the way to the edge of the spring, and this right here sometimes can be a little bit of a headache to put back on. But this is for the YouTube video. Pop that out. This should pop out right here, and right here is our locking system for the Beretta. Press this in, that should raise up, just like that. It feels a little gritty, but again, brand new gun, brand new finish, absolutely lathered in oil. It does have a little bit of darkness to it, though, so maybe they test fired it at the facility that they manufactured it at. The inside of the barrel looks fantastic. It's all shiny and new. This right here is not used. Very seldomly do I buy a not used firearm. They're almost always used, but this one right here I did get new. Firing pin looks good. Extractor looks good. All of this is telling me that this gun is going to work, but we'll actually have to take it out and test it for functionality. We'll do that in another video because I just don't have the means to be able to do that right now. Alright. Reassembling our slide right here really wasn't that difficult, which tells me that the spring is not as tensioned as it's supposed to be. If I end up having any kind of reliability issues, I'm going to go ahead and swap out that spring and see if that helps any, because that spring did not feel as stiff as it normally should inside of a Beretta 92. Alright, there we go. First impressions, I really like this thing. I'll be honest, I really like this thing. Like I said, I don't know if it's biased towards the fact that this right here is the first Beretta 92 model that I have owned, but I've just never really liked the 92. It's just so chunky and clunky, it never really fit my hand properly. But the contour of this is just, it feels like home. And I don't think I've ever felt any firearm with my vast array of experience, with my massive pile of guns behind me. I don't think I've ever felt anything that fit my hand quite as well as the grips on this thing. I really hope that this thing works reliably. So we're going to take this out to the range, test it. I'm sure that's going to be a video that's going to come up before too terribly long. Yeah, it says D-E-R-Y-A right on the grips themselves. Derya. I have no idea how that's actually pronounced. But we're going to take this to range, test fire it. I am not going to be upset if it malfunctions within the first 200 rounds. And we'll shove a bunch of ammo through it and see where that leaves us. And I'll keep you guys posted on that journey. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you on the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.